to episode 126 of your CYSA Plus Prepcast. In this episode, we examine the vital role of external communication during cybersecurity incidents, specifically focusing on customer communication and media relations. When a cybersecurity incident occurs, the quality of information delivered to the public becomes just as important as the internal technical response. Customers and media representatives alike expect accuracy, transparency, and timeliness. Organizations that communicate clearly during a crisis are more likely to retain trust, avoid regulatory scrutiny, and minimize long-term reputational damage. Those that delay, deny, or mislead often face increased fallout. This episode explores how to structure external communication efforts, align internal and public messaging, and deliver updates with credibility and empathy while ensuring compliance with regulatory expectations and industry standards. Effective customer communication begins with timely notification. As soon as an incident is confirmed to affect customer data, systems, or services, the organization must prepare direct, clear statements tailored to the scope of the impact. Waiting too long to inform customers creates uncertainty and often leads to speculation or loss of trust. Immediate communication shows that the organization acknowledges its responsibility and is actively addressing the situation. Timely notifications also demonstrate maturity in incident handling and support legal compliance. Customer-facing messages must explain the specifics of the incident in straightforward language. These communications should state what occurred, what systems or data were affected, what steps have already been taken, and what customers should expect going forward. It is important to avoid excessive technical detail, but still provide enough clarity for customers to understand the event. Transparency helps reduce fear and confusion, and it prepares users to take appropriate, protective steps if needed. One critical component of these communications is providing customers with clear and specific recommendations for personal protection. This might include steps such as resetting passwords, enabling multi-factor authentication, monitoring financial accounts, or applying security updates. The more specific and actionable the guidance, the more empowered customers will feel. Vague or generic advice can undermine confidence and lead to frustration. Tailored recommendations also help reduce the overall impact of the incident and demonstrate care for customer well-being. In many cases, customer communications are not only ethical, but also required by law. Regulations such as the General Data Protection Regulation, the California Consumer Privacy Act, and many state-specific breach notification laws mandate that organizations notify affected individuals within strict timelines. Clear documentation of when and how notifications were delivered is essential for proving compliance and avoiding potential penalties. Cybersecurity professionals must coordinate closely with legal and compliance teams to ensure that customer communications meet regulatory expectations. Incident responders and public communication teams must work together to maintain accuracy across customer interactions. This includes aligning incident facts across call centers, chat support, and email communication. All frontline staff must be equipped with consistent messaging and updated as the situation evolves. This coordination helps avoid contradictory statements, incomplete responses, or the appearance of disorganization. Customer service staff should feel confident in their responses and have access to a central repository of validated information. Using predefined communication templates is a best practice for streamlining this process. Templates help ensure that customer support teams deliver consistent, accurate messages without introducing delays or errors. These templates should include customizable fields for incident specifics, recommended actions, support contact information, and timelines for future updates. Pre-approved language helps minimize the risk of non-compliant or misleading statements while speeding up the overall response time. During the course of an incident, organizations must be proactive in addressing customer concerns, confusion, or misinformation. This means providing regular updates, being clear about what is known and what is still being investigated, and outlining what the organization is doing to resolve the situation. Communications must establish realistic expectations and avoid promising outcomes that cannot be guaranteed. Reassuring customers without misleading them is a delicate balance that requires careful coordination across teams. It is important to tailor messages to different customer segments. Not every customer will be affected in the same way, and communications should reflect that. For example, business clients may need more detailed technical explanations, while individual consumers may be more focused on personal data protection. Language should be appropriate to the audience, avoiding unnecessary jargon and focusing on what matters most to the recipient. Customizing communication builds trust and shows a higher level of care and responsibility. Follow-up communication after the incident is resolved is just as important as the initial notification. These messages should summarize the full scope of the incident, detail remediation efforts, describe improvements being made to prevent recurrence, and reassure customers that their concerns were taken seriously. A strong follow-up strategy demonstrates accountability, helps rebuild confidence, and often receives positive feedback from users even if the original incident was disruptive. All customer communications should be carefully documented and archived. This includes copies of emails, support call transcripts, FAQ responses, and social media posts. Proper documentation supports compliance with breach notification regulations, enables retrospective analysis, and prepares the organization for possible legal inquiries or audits. It also helps refine future communication strategies by providing a clear record of what was communicated, when it was shared, and how customers responded. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are more security courses on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Media communication plays a different but equally important role during cybersecurity incidents. While customer communication focuses on direct engagement with affected users, media communication manages public perception, shapes the narrative, and prevents the spread of misinformation. Public relations teams must act quickly to ensure that the organization's perspective is accurately represented in the news, on social media, and across digital platforms. Silence, delay, or miscommunication can lead to speculation, reputational damage, and erosion of trust. A proactive media strategy helps maintain transparency, demonstrate accountability, and show that the organization is managing the situation responsibly. The first step in effective media communication is prompt notification to the PR team when an incident is declared. Early engagement allows the team to begin drafting statements, coordinating with legal and cybersecurity staff, and identifying appropriate spokespersons. Delaying this coordination results in rushed, inconsistent, or incomplete messaging, which can lead to public confusion and reputational setbacks. A strong internal communication channel between cybersecurity and public relations ensures that both teams remain aligned as new information emerges. Media messages must be crafted carefully and reviewed thoroughly before distribution. The content should include what occurred, what is being done to address the issue, how customers are being supported, and what actions have already been completed. These messages should avoid overly technical language while still providing sufficient detail to demonstrate transparency. Ambiguous or overly vague statements can fuel distrust or prompt further scrutiny. On the other hand, clear, accurate messaging builds credibility and helps control the public narrative. Incident responders must coordinate closely with PR teams to ensure that external messaging is consistent with the incident's internal documentation and status reports. Inconsistent messaging, such as public statements that minimize the incident while technical staff are managing a serious breach, can have damaging effects. Customers, regulators, and industry watchers will notice contradictions and may question the organization's transparency. Aligning public and internal messaging avoids these conflicts and strengthens the organization's position. Designating a clear and credible spokesperson is another best practice. This individual may be a senior executive, a head of communications, or a technical expert depending on the situation. The spokesperson should be media-trained, well-briefed, and authorized to speak on behalf of the organization. Designated spokespersons ensure that messaging is unified and that responses to media inquiries are consistent. Ad hoc or unauthorized communication increases the risk of misstatements and weakens the overall communication effort. An effective media strategy also involves explicitly acknowledging the severity of the incident. Trying to downplay the impact or withhold key information can backfire once external parties uncover the full story. Instead, the organization should clearly explain what happened, what services or data were affected, and how recovery is being handled. Demonstrating transparency shows confidence and a commitment to integrity, which ultimately strengthens stakeholder trust. CySA's communication protocols guide how the organization interacts with the media during incidents. These protocols define how statements are drafted, approved, and released, as well as how media inquiries are managed. They also include plans for rapid communication via press releases, media briefings, or digital updates. Well-established protocols ensure that media communication is not improvised under pressure, but follows a structured, coordinated process. This preparation leads to more effective public engagement and minimizes the risk of confusion. Social media is an essential channel in today's incident communication landscape. Customers, journalists, and industry observers often turn to platforms like Twitter and LinkedIn for real-time updates. PR teams must actively monitor these platforms, respond to misinformation, and provide verified information as needed. Collaboration between cybersecurity and PR ensures that social media responses are technically accurate and legally appropriate. Quick and accurate engagement on social platforms helps contain rumors and maintain public confidence. Ongoing media updates throughout the incident lifecycle support transparency and public trust. Initial press releases should be followed by regular status updates, even if the update is simply to confirm that remediation is progressing. These updates demonstrate that the organization remains engaged, responsive, and committed to resolving the issue. A lack of follow-up communication may be interpreted as negligence or indifference, further harming the organization's reputation. After the incident concludes, PR teams should conduct a structured review of media communication efforts. This review should examine the clarity of messaging, the timeliness of responses, the accuracy of shared details, and the public's reaction. Feedback from stakeholders, journalists, and internal teams should be collected to identify what worked well and where improvements are needed. These insights feed into updated communication protocols, training efforts, and content templates to enhance future preparedness. To summarize episode 126, customer and media communication are not simply public relations exercises. They are foundational elements of effective incident response. Customers expect timely, honest updates that guide their actions and reassure them of the organization's commitment. The media requires accurate, transparent messaging to inform the public and shape perception. When these communications are handled with care, coordination, and clarity, the result is reduced uncertainty, preserved reputation, and stronger stakeholder trust. By developing repeatable communication practices and aligning internal and external messaging, cybersecurity professionals contribute directly to resilience and recovery during challenging moments. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.